Okay, hey guys. Now, I just wanted to go over extra bit of boot camp feedback with you all. So, yes. So, just on kind of like drawing the cube and stuff, I really want to make sure that you guys are just understanding this concept first, because if you kind of don't, it's really easy to get left behind with everything that's going on, right? So, I'm just going to bring up, so there's a few people that I wanted to go over. Hold on one second. So I've got. I'm just going to write it down here, but we'll email you. But just so I know what I'm doing. So Zeph. Zeph and Luke and Tessa and Aiden and Stephanie and I'll kind of bring up examples and stuff. Kiara and we got two Kiaras. Kiara M Murphy. Oops. Kiara K D. That makes sense. Matilda. And who else we got? Alan. And Caitlin. And Gypsy. And yeah, so it was just you guys who I was like, I just felt kind of just needed that little bit of extra, just a bit of help here. Just hang on a second. Yeah, it wasn't like you're in the naughty corner. It's just really making sure that you're understanding. All right. So I'm gonna just try and keep this really simple, and I all want you guys to kind of like do this exercise, because I haven't seen you guys kind of like get this correct just yet. All right. So you really got to get it correct, because I can see now as we get into like doing the boat and stuff, if you kind of don't have these concepts kind of in your head, it's impossible to get that right. Because it's just, yeah, it just makes it really hard for you guys. So just try and follow along, right, as best as possible. Okay, so I'm just, yep, I know this is basic, but let's just go. So we're gonna do our horizon line, right? Gonna have to change this around a bit, but doing the horizon line. And then, hang on a sec. I don't know why I bring up stuff and don't need to do that anyway. So we're going to have let's just get one of these. All right, so we've got like, we're going to have two vanishing points, right? Now I'll show you once again like how you can kind of do that. So I saw in quite a bit of the homework, you guys were doing like a 1 point and then a 2 point, and then like the 2 point setup you did was fine, but it's not what we're kind of after. So what we want you guys to work out is how to make, how to make a perfect cube in perspective, not just perspective, but perspective space. Okay, so lots of you are doing kind of stuff like this. You're kind of like going right, or you're going up, that's not a cube, that's a rectangle. Does that make sense? So what we kind of want to do is make sure that, you know, they're kind of looking like that, right? In space, okay? In perspective. So when you do like 1 point, that's easy because you just do that and then you just drag these bits, you just drag these bits back, you know, to the vanishing point, right? And you just cut it off. But even sort of measuring this, how long that is kind of tricky, right? And then when you do it into 2 points perspective, it's even harder. Okay, so I can see there's like a lot of little things that you want to just kind of work out, right? So let's start with how we need to set this kind of like grid and guide up. So yeah, all right. So just what you need to do first is have that central vision point, right? You can put that along there anywhere, okay? But that's basically where I'm going to talk about this a bit. It's kind of like where our sheet of paper is. So it's kind of like the middle of the sheet of paper. Does that make sense? It doesn't even have to be the middle, but that's a good way of kind of like describing it, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing. I'm just going to hide that for a second. Let's hide those ones. Let's hide that. All right. This is called your picture plane. And I think a lot of you guys, what you're kind of doing at the moment is you're thinking that I need to draw these vanishing points like on my sheet of paper, right? But that's sort of not what we're doing. We're trying to show you guys how you can create a grid that's really not complicated, that will help you draw things very simply, okay? So you've got your center point there, right? And then what we're going to do is work out our vanishing point. So you can put your vanishing point anywhere along here that you kind of want to, right? It can be here, you know, it could be here, it could be here. We're just going to start with 1 because once you got 1, that works out what the second one is. All right. So let's kind of do it near the end. So it's like kind of easy, all right? And then what we want to do is we want to drag this down to here. All right. Now this is a little bit tricky in Photoshop, but this line, right? This direction that comes out here always needs to be at like 90 degrees. So I've kind of got that right, but let me show you a trick in Photoshop. So if you go like this, hold down Shift, right? So get the marquee tool, that square one, hold down Shift, that'll make a perfect square. Don't do it like this, right? Because that's kind of wrong. I mean, it will sort of work because the angles are 90 degrees, right? But hold down Shift, that'll make a perfect square. And then let's just, I'm going to do these different colors so you can really see, right? I'm going to go stroke, make it like 8 pixels. All right. So basically what we do is, if I just grab this and rotate it. Oh, so I'm just going to rotate this and I'm going to put it here on that vanishing point, right? Let's just hit enter for a second. Okay. Now what I want to do is on here, so this one here, we're going to create like that sort of station point. So it's like where does this kind of like hang off, right? So what we can do is like make the box any size you want, okay, and then we get it to fit like on the vanishing point, and it's got to intersect with this one here at that point there, right? So you will see that you kind of need to make it a bit bigger and just rotate it around a bit, just make sure that's all like perfect, as perfect as possible. All right, now what we'll get here, then what we can do is just cut this off because I don't need this anymore. Okay, now where this intersects, where have we got that? Blue line. Too many lines. All right. Where the green one intersects with the blue horizon line, right? That's where vanishing point 2 is. VP2, VP1. This is like this. the center of vision, CV. This is like, yeah, you kind of like, this is not actually like station point, but like measuring point, but we're just going to call it a station point now, right? That'll do. All right. And we just need to make sure that this line going into here and this one coming out of here are at 90 degrees, right? I know for like a bunch of you, as soon as this gets into math, you're just like, oh my God, just don't stress out. Just make the box, right? Just rotate that around. So what you can do is like, now you've got that line there, all right? You can put the vanishing point anywhere along this blue line. Does that make sense? Like it will go anywhere, but can you see where this one goes? It goes way off there. So a vanishing point 2 would be way off there, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to everyone. No, it won't, because I'm not on the, remember, you got to be on here. You got to intersect it right in the middle. But you guys get what I mean, right? Like you can put it anywhere along there, but it's just going to make that second vanishing point way further off. Okay, so let's keep it simple for now. Kind of keep it sort of in the middle, right? Just so it's relatively simple. Okay, so that's that. Then what we want to do is we want to create the cone of vision, right? We want to work out that the cone of vision where it's basically, the cone of vision means like, where can I draw stuff in the grid where it's not effed up, all right? It's not distorted. So this is what this measurement is doing. So basically it's a 60 degrees. So it's 60 degrees, like either side of our center of vision. So it's actually sorry guys, it's actually 30 degrees on one side, so 30 on this side and 30 on this side. So if you get the line tool, right, in Photoshop, it's really cool because basically like you can drag it out and it tells you. So this is 90 straight up and down, right, is 90 degrees. Okay, so we need to go this way to like 120. So just 90 plus 30 is 120. All right, and we just drag that up to the to the horizon line. Horizon line. So drag that up to the horizon line. We just get another one, and we go, this is 90, that one there, and then I'm just moving it across. So 90 minus 30, 60. Oh no, maths. Bit of pain, but yeah, just bear with me. Okay, so we do that there, right? And so now we've kind of got a point on here and a point on here, and this is going to give us the cone of vision. So the next step is, all right, a few steps just to get this working, but all right, so the next step is that you need to have a circle. So we need to basically get a circle in here that works out a cone of vision. Nice drawing, Simon, of my circle, right? The thing is, the radius of the circle, so it needs to go out from here, right? So the center of the circle needs to be on that dot in the middle, right? And you need to make the circle big enough that it cuts through this line here. Okay, makes sense? Makes sense? We can do this. So go back here, elliptical marquee tool, hold down shift, because if I don't, the thing is wrong, all right? It's not a circle. Hold down shift, and we just keep dragging. All right, let's go move this around. Okay, now if I go transform, no, oh, right click, transform selection. Okay, I need to make sure that, see these little, this is cool because in the transform thing you can just see those side lines. We just need to make them go on the horizon line, right? And it's not quite big enough, so I just drag it out. Just drag it out. Drag out this side. All right, it's going to dip down a bit to make sure they line up on the horizon line. Okay. Alrighty. So that there. Wait there. Something there. Oh. Oh. Stroke. Let's make it like 12. That'll be better. Okay. So this bit is our cone of vision. So with our picture plane, basically, we don't want to have any of our piece of paper sitting outside of that cone of vision here. Does that make sense? So at the moment, this has nothing to do with anything, nothing to do with any of our drawing, because we don't even have a grid up yet, right? We don't have the grid, but we will soon. So all this is really meaning is that, like, I just need to draw my cube somewhere in this picture plane. If I draw outside of that green circle anywhere, it's going to look weird, right? It's going to start getting distorted. So that's super duper 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 important, right? So when you're drawing like your Ferrari and stuff later on, if you start drawing it outside of that picture plane, it's not going to work. Now, what I'm going to do is, sorry, Aiden, I'm going to use yours as an example because it was a good one, right? Is that if I can find it. Okay. Right, so I'm just taking yours just as an example, just to show it. So basically, like a whole bunch of you kind of did this, right? Where you drew some good 2-point perspective cubes, but these are not inside the cone of vision, right? So you just need to understand this principle first, because then that'll help you with when you're drawing things, right? And kind of working out where it is to put these things. So once again, Aiden as well, like none of these are quite cubes, right? They're all rectangular boxes, because they're not quite like the actual right, they're not square, right? So that's what we're teaching you how to do here, is like to work out how to make a perfect cube. Not even a perfect one, just a cube that is a cube, not a rectangle. Does that make sense? So that's the bit that all of this setup is for. So all of this setup right now is for that. Can I? Hang on. No, doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah. So, oops. All of that setup is for this. Okay. Now the next bit comes some like kind of trickier, a little bit of trickier stuff, right? Where we've got to measure some other things too, which is that the measuring point. So the measuring point is literally just so you can work out like how to fit the cube in, how to make the cube square. All right. Okay. Sorry, lots of stuff, but basically the lines that you're getting the vanishing points from, so like here, this is how you work out the measuring points, right? And it's kind of like a bit of a game of opposites. So what I'm going to do is go back to here. Now, if you're on pencil and paper, what you need to do is like you measure this, you measure from there to there, and like how long is that line, right? How long? And you measure that and say it's like 15.7 centimeters. So then you measure from here 15.7 centimeters along there, and you'll get the measuring point. Okay. In Photoshop, it's cool because we can cheat a bit in terms of like we don't have to grab like the actual measurement, because we've got this line here. So all I do is I just grab the line. Oh, apparently if I can do this. All right, I just grab the line and I just copy and paste it. All right, just copy and paste that. Just transform it so it's straight, straight, pretty straight, pretty straight. Try and get as accurate as you can with these things. All right, and it goes along there, right? And so this here, let's make a new layer, and this is measuring point 1. All right. Let's hide this little pitch plane here because we don't really need it anymore. Measuring point 1, all right, where that green line is there. Now it stands to reason this line's going to be the same. No, it's not. Probably not. So let's hide that. Oh, hang on. No. Oh, did I actually do it on the background? No, I didn't. Okay, so we go back to this layer down here. Yes, this one. All right. Grab this, grab this, grab this, grab this. So grab this one, copy it, paste it, all right, transform it so it's just straight. Maybe if you're doing this on paper, you just do it with a ruler, and it's kind of easier than all this rigmarole that I'm going through now. But oh gosh, you get the idea. All right, so here, do another line, and that's measuring point 2. All right, so I'll just hide that one because we don't need that. It's on the horizon line. So now we've got a measuring point 1, measuring point 2. All right, okay, let's draw some stuff. Thank God. Let's draw it. Let's start drawing the cube. All right. The easiest way to do it is to put it. So I think for all you guys, just do this. Don't put it anywhere else. Just put it in the middle, smack bang in the middle, right? Okay. So the next bit that I'm pretty sure in all of your stuff, what I didn't quite see you do is then measure this cube kind of properly, right? So just gonna make this a bit thicker so you can kind of like see the lines. Okay, so basically like our cube is this one long. So once again, if you're gonna like measure it with a ruler, you want to measure this, that, there. How long is that? 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter? Probably on your piece of paper, if you're doing it on a piece of paper, it needs to be quite small, like 2 centimeters or something. But we've got like a length there, okay? So then what we do is just grab this. So I'm just gonna duplicate it, right? Transform it. Because we want to have this same measurement here on that side, right? And one on this side here. Because basically like we're making this cube in space. Okay, now these ones are not my drawing, they're just measurement tools to help get what the drawing is, right? So we need to work out where to put this line in space. So basically what we're going to do here is the next one, I'm going to draw this in another color because it gets a bit confusing. All right, but we want to draw from the measuring point to this angle here, and we want to draw from the measuring point to this angle here. Now this seems kind of weird, but just bear with us. All right, and then basically the next step that you do is you want to draw to the vanishing point. All right, so this is like the drawing of the actual cube. So I make that black. Let's make that in black. When I'm drawing the actual cube, I'm drawing in black. So I'm going to put that there, right? And I'm going to put this one here. See this measuring point, that gives us the distance that our vertical line sits. Okay, so draw one there and draw one there. And then we just connect the top one to the vanishing point. This top one to the vanishing point. And now we've got a cube in perspective. Right, draw that one across there and that one across there. Right, just like you would do every other time. But just some people are just sort of missing the point of like why you're doing that stuff. Does that make sense? I'm just gonna delete those out so we don't have those. Just watch this video back and then you can draw it anywhere like within inside the cone of vision, right? Using the same principle and you'll get a perfect cube. Okay, so same principle. Let's go up here. Let's just do another one really quick and I'm gonna like tone down the line weight so it's not as crappy, right? Cube up here, but I'm making sure I start it. I know that this is all going to sit within inside the cone of vision. All right, let's duplicate that line. All right, oh, come on, you know you want to. Just go in here. All right, so we need to measure the exact same distance on that side and that side there. All right, that all kind of makes sense, right? This is not, these bottom bits are not drawing the cube, right? It's going to be in perspective. They're just to measure it. All right, so if I just move them down and let's just do it like this, so then you know that they're not the drawing, right? Let's go up to this new layer. All right, so then I want to go from measuring point 1 and measuring point 2. Measuring point 1 and measuring point 2, right? And then what I want to do is I want to draw my line down to the vanishing point there and my line down to the vanishing point over here. All right, and that's going to give me my verticals. All right, once again, verticals, and then I just from the vanishing point go up, and it's going to connect with this one, not this one here because I just made that line up. This one here. Right, add that one there. I got my lines pretty good then, didn't I? After a while, you work it out, and I'll leave that. I'll just leave those up so you can see, and then back to the vanishing point, back to the vanishing point. So sometimes people get confused with this red line that the measuring point's meant to be the vanishing points or whatever. No, 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 no. All you use that for is to measure the width of this here, the width of this here. And so this is a cube in space. It's weird how it works, hey, like, you know, so in here, this angle, this face is a lot narrower than this one, but it still feels like a cube. Does that make sense? So that's where I said, like, some of yours feel like rectangle boxes. Does that make sense? So yeah, and the further you move this away to the cone of vision, the more distortion there'll be between the faces, right? The more distortion there'll be. And when you're drawing that outside of the cone of vision, it starts getting whackety whackety whack. And then when you, I don't know where Aiden's was here, right? So that when you kind of are drawing stuff, you know, like in here, right? Get the idea? In there. When you're drawing stuff in there, it's really hard to work out what's square and what's not. It's very tricky. So you want to keep it inside that cone of vision. Okay. And that's the week 1 exercise. And it's really hard to move on to week 2 until you get this. But this is it. This is what I want you guys to do. So I really want you to have a go. Just do it in Photoshop. Keep it really nice and neat and tidy. Just use the line tool, right? And just understand this kind of like mathematical principle, right? So then the next step is from here. The next step is once we've got our cube, right? Part 2. It's almost like I need to duplicate. Anyway, the next step is drawing from corner to corner, right? We'll give you the center point. Now the center point, the vertical, it's just straight up and down, but go through, all right? This one, the other middle, needs to come from the vanishing point, right? And intersect through the middle, okay? And to get another cube here, we don't need the measuring point anymore because we've already done that. We figured that out. We just used it once to get the first one, then that's it, right? To get the next cube, the same size, then we just draw a line through here. Sorry, I'll be very clear with this. Draw a line through here and it intersects with this one, right? And so you just draw a line, just keep going to infinitum. You can go wherever, right? It's just going to intersect through there. Now, where this line, your vanishing point kind of line that you drew for your box, where those two things intersect, that's where the next box goes. And then once again, just draw through there to there, right? And then now you got the next cube. So if I draw this over to that vanishing point, right? And this one to that vanishing point. Okay, now we've got another cube, right? And you can just keep going and going and going and going, right? Same sort of thing. I'll just do this one more time really quick. All right, let's get the center point. Center point. This one's going to be the same, right? That red one through. Okay, and then what we need to do is, let's go green. Green. All right, let's stack one on top of each other, right? So from here, you just the same principle all the time. Cut it through the middle, through there, right? Just drag it out to wherever, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then basically you just draw up, and where that connects is where the next one starts. All right, so let's just do that in black. That's where the next one goes, right? Just drag that to the vanishing point. Drag this one up because we already know this angle, right? Drag this one across to this vanishing point because we know that angle, right? Draw this one up because we know that angle. There we go. Now we've got 3 cubes there. They're all perfect. Okay, that's what I want you guys to do. Please get this concept before moving on to anything else. You have to understand this. Otherwise, everything else just like turns to mush in your brain. You're like, I don't know where I'm going next with this, right? So I'm just going to quickly, let me just